not going to cripple his inside, but wasn't out the captain's run. Where's he at? Will he play tomorrow night?
Yeah, no, he did run around earlier, so no, he's right to go. So take a position in the team, which is good news. So obviously had to have some patience with it as well, and but he's done all the work, so he'll be ready to go.
So it was just that corky, it was like just a niggle. That wasn't...
Yeah, that's pretty much what he had to do. So once he feels free enough and feels okay, then he's ready to go.
So he had a pretty light week.
Yeah, he's followed all what he's needed to do. So obviously he's got important milestones to meet throughout the week, which he's met. So no point holding him back. He's ready to go, and it's obviously going to be a big game for us. But more than that, it's just more important for him. Is he right to go? And if he's right to go, then he gets to play.
How much does it lift the team having a guy like him out there?
Oh, of course, he's your captain, which obviously is having him out there is fantastic. I think we've also taken a good approach that the next man's come in and got their jobs done. So we're fortunate. We've got a couple of other guys that are out, and obviously Voss is out and Walsh is out. So we'll ask a couple of others to be able to step in and do their roles. Obviously, be important ones.
Adam Chera, obviously as well. He's good to go.
Yep, he got through everything. So everyone that we sort of hoped that would get through has been able to do that. So then I guess it's just down to selection with some of those guys, and so they've all sort of passed their tests, so they'll play this weekend.
You've played the Pies obviously quite a few times in recent memory. What have you learned from not being able to get the job done against them recently that you can implement here?
You've got to play 120 minutes. If it needs to be 124, then you've got to play 124. So we sort of know that's what they bring. I'd expect any side that's on top of the ladder to be able to know how to play the entire game. So that's what they'll ask of us, is be able to play at the intensity we need. We feel like we're well prepared. We've obviously been making some steady progress in a few important areas for us, which has been well discussed. So we obviously need to put that out on Friday night.
It feels like you're playing completely different football to when you met them however long ago, 8 weeks ago. Do you take much from that game, or is everything's different now?
Oh, there's a fair bit different. Collingwood are much the same as we can see. They've been able to establish that consistency over the course of the whole year, haven't they? But certainly our form compared to then is somewhat different. We certainly hope that we put in a stronger showing, and we know what Collingwood are like and what they'll bring. And over the last little period of time, we've been able to activate a few different things in our style as well that puts us in better position. So we just have to, obviously, when we need to, put that back to them when we get the right times to do it.
Is Jack Martin able to come back into the side, or is away from the main group?
He's all good to go. So they're all good to go. Yep.
In the VFL, you had Mark Pitnet come back and sort of was a bowler of what sort of best on ground. I mean, how does that influence your setup? With maybe Harry going out, do you push Tom forward and go?
Yeah, that's a possible option. Pitt will come into the side, so that probably speaks to what we do with Tom. There'll be no real secrets there for us. Probably more for Pitto was, how did he get through the game and did he pull up okay? And as he said, he performed really, really strongly. So, he's a bit of an automatic for us into the team, and obviously provides that aggression around the ball. And, that's where it's going to start. It's going to start with a contest and, plenty of pressure, which I'm sure, Collingwood have been able to bring across the whole year. So we know what's coming.
Did the fact, while Mark was out, and you turned that contest game around with Tom as the sort of the number one man, did that change your perspective on how you play Mark and Tom in the same team? Did that change that?
Not really. No, Mark played against the Gold Coast, and he's obviously, and then Tom was a little bit more forward in that particular game. So no, it hasn't. Certainly our mindset approach, we'd like to think went a little bit even before that. It just probably took a little bit longer to get going. But no, when you've got someone like Pitto who's ready to go, then he obviously brings that presence for us, and around the ball, and we're going to need some of those first looks. At the same time, we've got to get our hands dirty, because we obviously know Collingwood are pretty strong in that area.
The way you're playing now and the way the Pies have played all season, do you envisage this being a high scoring game, and would you be comfortable with that sort of game?
Difficult to tell. I mean, clearly, if we want to create a scoreboard threat, that's part of the challenge. But I'd like to think that that's probably more the end outcome of it all. If it works out that it's high scoring, so be it. If it works out that we are playing 45 to 45, then we'll play that as well. So no, we feel like we're sort of not so much outcome driven. We've obviously got some important parts of our game that we need to make sure we get right, and if the rewards are on the end of it, then so be it. But we've got to make sure the other parts of our game hold up really strongly against this team.
What's your theory on Nick Dacos? Do you need to sit someone on him? Or?
He's a good player. Yeah, he's a good player. So look, he's an obvious threat. They've got plenty of them. That's why they're top of the ladder. So, got to be conscious that by taking one away, there's a few others that do step up. Across the year they've had different personnel come through there and they've still been able to get the job done. So, yeah, there's going to be a bit of talent v talent, but there's also a system v system that we need to be able to implement.
Are you, obviously you're better placed the way you're playing this time around than maybe 8 weeks ago when you did have your opportunities though, you just didn't really kick straight in that opening sort of half that really hurt you. So you obviously feel like you're in a much better place to challenge what is the benchmark?
No, I thought they well and truly outplayed us last time we played. I mean, I don't think we should shy of that. We fought out the game strongly and, we responded where we need to, but they were too good for us on that particular night. A lot of the work that we were trying to do was just hard work. Pressure was pretty good throughout that game, but some of the other parts of our system just wasn't holding together that well. Clearly more behind the ball, was able to, influence the aerial contest the longer the game went on. He became more impactful, so we'd like to think we're better than that.
I was going to say, with Darcy, I mean, clearly looking at that game, you almost kicked it to him, so many occasions. So is that going to be a big focus this week on nullifying his intercepting?
Yeah, look, I think clearly there's threats that the opposition bring, but I don't think we should be mistaken. It's got to be our style that comes to the table on Friday night. It has to be. We've worked so hard at being able to regain that as the pressure goes up, nothing should change. So we appreciate they got threats, so have we. So we need to make sure that we activate ours.
Have you specifically discussed Darcy this week though and nullifying him?
Yeah, he's a pretty important player to him, and I'm sure the forwards will go to work on that. But again, I don't think we should be mesmerised by all that. I think we just get on with what we need to be able to do. The forwards know the task that they've got ahead of them. It'll be hard to score. They've got a really strong system. They've got some good players behind the ball. It's not just about more. It's about their defensive system and how they support one another. And we just need to make sure that we stick together through those moments. And if a few of them don't work, don't worry about it. Move on. The mistake happens, and we've got to recover it as quickly as we possibly can. So I'm sure we won't have it all our own way. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of challenges thrown our way that we'll have to navigate during the course of the game.
Different coaches use broader themes and metaphors and things setting up games. How have you set this game up? Because it's 90,000, it's the arch rival, all that stuff, and it feels like it's a bit of a crucible moment. It is the breakthrough moment if you can get the win. So have you set it up in any particular way this week?
We're not building it up as that moment, that's for sure. So we've got another game against a really good opposition. We want to put out our best, and we're pretty clear on what we need to be able to do and the roles we need to be able to fill and the style of footy that's going to get us the win. What you make of it, well, you can write about it. But for us, it's obviously an important moment for us to be able to play against a really good opposition, an arch rival for our football club. So we understand the night and the occasion, but we can't play the occasion. We've got to make sure we get after the game itself. And no, we're just looking forward to it. We're really excited.
You had much of a chat to your old teammate this week?
Not this week. No, he's banned this week, so off the contacts list. So. No, got him on mute this week, so we might catch up a little bit afterwards, but certainly not this week.
Reports around Tom DeConing that you guys might be closing in on a deal. Have those negotiations turned in a sense that that's how you feel now internally, that is drawing closer?
I think we've been in dialogue with him the whole time through, so we're sort of comfortable with where those conversations have been going. In due course, that'll get worked out. What I'm really pleased with is that he's playing some really good footy. He's been able to get himself as a ruck in the last couple of weeks has been really good. Obviously what we ask of him is to extend that into some forward line craft, and that'll just grow out his game and make it even stronger. So having that combination backs is important to us. So it'll be important for us now and it'll be important for us moving forward.
I know you're a Carlton fan growing up, but Carlton, Collingwood, big Friday night. I mean, it sort of doesn't get any better as a coach and as a AFL footballer.
It's pretty exciting. I mean, some of the noises at the end of last year were some of the loudest I've ever heard. So just be able to be in that environment often and sort of get that exposure to these particular games. They do take on that little bit of extra meaning. We're certainly aware of what's in front of us and the rivalry that exists. And we've played a couple of really strong games against each other last year. Obviously, we're off the mark to start off for this year, but it's an important game for both teams.